Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Ji. Satsang Ji, we're here outside the Westminster Magistrates Court. We've just heard the verdict that the case against the West Midlands 3 has been dropped. I'm here with Dabinderjit Singh Ji from the Sikh Federation. Bhai Sahab Ji, can you tell us what do you make of the verdict today, of everything that's happened today?
I think when we first heard that the 2-week hearing become a 2-day hearing, I remember talking to two of the Singhs and saying, can you ask your lawyers whether this is a positive sign or a negative sign? My own belief, that this was a positive sign, because actually the 2-day hearing was about, did India have a case in the first place? The issue of extradition would have been secondary, and then all the human rights considerations would have come in. So at the second stage we would have been victorious anyway. But what today's verdict has shown is India never had a case in the first place. And where this really, we can't leave it here. We've got to say, when Dominic Raab went to India in December 2020 to talk about trade, why was it that the next day Priti Patel, the Home Secretary, signed the extradition order and a few days later their homes were raided? What the Home Secretary should have done is to say what new evidence has come up in the last decade in relation to that case 12 years ago. And therefore, this has wasted taxpayers' money, it's put the community in this position, it's put those individuals, their families and their children for 10 months through this. This should never have come to court. And we must campaign for either the Home Secretary to resign or admit she was wrong, because she's wasted not just community efforts, but she's also, another question has been raised, that she is already very close to the BJP government. And I think it's in our interest that as a community, and there are many conservative politicians that also don't like the way Priti Patel has carried out her role as the Home Secretary. And this is just one other example involving our community, involving our youth, that how she's put them through that. This is not something that should be happening in the UK.
I mean, indeed, we've even heard that some of the evidence that was presented was fabricated, such as the idea that these 3 Singhs were clean-shaven,
yeah.
and that they were born here in India and raised in India. So these are blatant lies that were being presented in court.
Very simple things. They were not in India in 2009 when this incident happened.
Yeah.
They were in their 20s. You know, this just made no sense. If it was investigated in 2010 by the British police who went to India, and 2 of the 3 were questioned at the time and told 6 months later, no case to answer. That was a decade ago, and that's what I was saying. Surely the Home Secretary should have said, what is the new evidence in these 10 years? And clearly, they fabricated that evidence, and you could say the Home Secretary didn't know it was fabricated. But the point is, these are basic things you must do before you have people arrested and put through this. It's no surprise to probably anyone here, any of the Sikhs here in India does this, because that's basically what they do. And therefore there should be a higher hurdle when India presents evidence. And I think that is the other thing that Sikhs talk about, Sarbatapala. What will come out of this is India, there'll be a big question mark over what India presents to the UK government about Sikhs, whether it be through a court of law or generally about what we campaign for. And I'll finish on this note by you. You know, the Sikhs and the British have a very long history, and it's had ups and downs, and we've sacrificed our lives over 100 years for the British, for independence. We also fought against the British for independence. But the one thing that's been very clear from the last 12 months, whether it be the farmers' protests, whether it be the pandemic across the globe, Sikhs have come to the fore, and that concept of Sarbat Dapala has been there for everyone to see. And we need to use this as a stepping stone to say, look at us Sikhs and what we stand for. Every single Sikh I'm talking about. Don't demonize us. Don't demonize us because we're asking for our rights and we're campaigning, say, for independence. Because after all, it was a British Prime Minister, Clement Attlee, in 1947, who offered Sikhs their own homeland. So if the Prime Minister of his country can do it in 1947, what's wrong with Sikhs today, particularly British-born Sikhs like these 3, campaigning on human rights and campaigning for their right to their own homeland? Because if we had that homeland, those very positives of Sarbat Dapala, the well-being of all, would be there for everyone to see. Because I just say to you, anyone listening to this who's a non-Sikh, ask yourself, do you know a Sikh? What is it about that Sikh you like? And they'll talk about honest, truthful, hard-working. And these are the traits of any Sikh, whether they be a Guru Sikh or even as someone who's on that path to Sikhi. They will say these things. Yeah, we have exceptions, but today is a massive victory for every single Sikh across the globe.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Bhai Sahib ji. Waheguru ji ka khalsa, Waheguru ji ki fateh.